Welcome to another edition of Aspire Discussions, where we challenge the way you think, shattering status quos while increasing your self worth. They call me Sibley. Serving people is who I am, is what I do, and I'm with my co-host Remy.
Realizing energy made me.
How you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing great, sir. Fantastic. Stupendous. Awesome. Amazing. Unbelievable.
Good
I'm
deal,
good, bro.
man.
I'm good, man. I'm good,
Good
bro.
deal, good deal, good deal.
How about
I,
yourself? How
I, I
about
share
yourself?
that because, man, I cannot wait. Like, this is about to be an awesome episode. Like, because I have been getting like so much confirmation, like on the things like that I've been working on the past 7 years, and
Damn.
I talked a lot about how all I ever wanted to do was, like, even with this podcast, put people in a position, you know what I'm saying, where I can use things that I'm great at and put people in a position to win, you know what I mean? And accomplish whatever they want to accomplish. And like, I got confirmation of just like my consistency and just being resilient and like never
Mm.
giving up and never giving up and just, you know what I'm saying, like just keep pushing forward because it's always gonna work out for your greater good.
You became a
So
millionaire overnight. Huh? That's what you trying to tell me?
I did mentally, absolutely. But no, that's not what I'm trying to tell you.
Alright, go ahead. Go
So
ahead, bro. Go ahead.
so I don't know if you had seen this post on IG, but it was on my personal account. I had posted 750 credit score or 250K in cash. Tell me why. And like, not a lot of people answered, but one of the people that answered was Ebony. You know Ebony, my homegirl.
Oh yeah. Mm.
Yeah, she answered and she was like 250K cash because my credit already straight. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I hit her back like, so you got this and this and this and basically the qualifications, to be able to do what I do, where I can, put her through my system basically.
Right.
So like I end up hitting her back that, and then she answered or whatnot, and we just started going back and forth and stuff and whatnot, and like she at the point where she ready to create extra streams, you know what I'm saying? Because like she tired of, you know what I'm saying, this 9 to 5 lifestyle. Like, the very one thing that like I had been on the last 7 years and I had been firm about, like, you need multiple streams and this, and she at the point where
Yeah.
like she ready, you know what I mean? And it was just like so relieving, man, because I'm like, this what I do it for, you know what I'm saying? Like it lit me up
Yeah.
inside, like, because I'm like, I'm in a position, you know what I'm saying, put her where she can win, and you know what I mean, and like open up the doors to do like whatever she want to do, and and it was just confirmation, man, like that, like how I was saying, like you just got to be the best example of your best device, and just always work towards whatever
You're striving
whatever
for
it
your
is that
dream,
you see,
whatever your
whatever it
goal
is
is.
that you see. You say what now?
I said, whatever your goal is, whatever it is you're
Right,
striving for,
right,
whatever it is you're
right,
dreaming about.
exactly. Right, exactly. Because it's like I posted it on the Instagram, inspired.discussions. I posted it on the Instagram. Like it was a picture of like it. I want to say it was like a truck, uh, a back of a semi truck, but it was like configured into like a little mini house or something, but it looked it wasn't all way it wasn't all the way put together, and it just didn't it looked like crap. But then the other picture had it fixed up, and it actually looked like a great living place. You know what I mean? And then
Okay.
the caption was um, everybody not always gonna see your vision, or something like that, something along that line. So, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
just staying focus on that. Like everybody not gonna see your vision, uh, right
Hmm.
right up front. You know what I mean? So like because they not supposed to, for one, because it was given to you. And you just
Right.
gotta stay focused,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying, just keep pushing, man. So that's one, and I'm gonna transition into this. And like I talked about Ebony first because now I'm about to talk
Right.
about Micah. Micah, he hit me Saturday.
Dun
What
dun
was it Saturday?
dun.
No, it was Friday. It was Friday, and he hit me, and like the Micah one, it touched me a little bit more than Ebony because like me and Micah, like we done sat down and had conversations for the past, I want to say, at least 4 years, at least. You know what I'm saying? I done had these financial conversations with him when I'm like, look, you gotta do boom, 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 boom. You gotta do this. Like, you gotta start somewhere. So he hit me, and he was like, I gotta try not to get emotional with this one because like I say, no, man, it really touched me, bro. Like I'm laughing, but man, it really touched me, man, because like
All right.
this what
All
I
right.
do it for, man. This what I do it for, man, because I just be so
Right.
happy when people see the way, they be like they have their, like we talked about, them aha moments, man. And it be an experience in a moment. He was like,
Right.
first off, I just want to thank you for giving me that savings plan. And then I thought, like, and he said it. I'm like, what you talking about? And I'm like, when I give you the savings plan? He was like, man, it was about 3 years ago, man. And I'm like, what? I'm
Oh.
like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, I do remember. I gave him a little savings plan, and he put it to work, and he said he got halfway through it, and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
and then he was like, I appreciate that. And basically, you know what I'm saying? He ready to start looking at his finances different. And you know what I'm saying? And he was thanking me for like giving them somewhere to start, because like I always tell you, like even like what I was telling you with this podcast,
Right.
like I went from April to July, and I almost said let's do it in September. But I thought, I'm like, we gotta start. Like we gotta start. Like it's
You
so
talking about
important to start.
starting the episode, like dropping the
Yeah,
episode? You
yeah.
almost
I
said it's
almost pushed it back to September. Yeah, I almost said let's just go in September. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Cause I'm a perfectionist, man. And if it ain't looking like what I think it should look like, I'm gonna say no. But not to
okay.
get off subject with Micah, because we gotta talk about this, because this uh, this was everything to me.
Okay.
And and basically, he want to start looking at his finances different. He was just thanking me for giving them that 3 years ago, bro. Like I had forgot about, even I don't, to be real though, I don't even use that no more. Like that's the thing. That's the thing about it. Like I don't even use it no more, because like I'm on such another level now. Like with the way I handle my money, like I don't really, like I got a little stash that like I
Right.
have over here, but I don't really save money. Like all my money is out somewhere where it can be, you know what I'm saying, doing something for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
so, like I don't even say that, and for him to like for me to get that to him 3 years ago, and you know what I mean, and like
Yeah.
it still did something for him, and like I don't even use it no more. You know what I mean? Like that meant
Yeah.
everything to me. Like I forgot that I even did it. You know what I'm saying? I forgot that I even did it, but now that but as he was talking and I'm like, damn, I do remember that conversation. You know, because like I'm always game planning, bro. Like I'm always coming up with something new. Like I got something
Right. Right.
completely new now. Like that's a whole different structure, but that was everything, man. So that's why my week was just like so great. And you know, that's why you see me with the podcast brainstorming more, because I'm like all the pieces coming together and you man, it just man.
Was it more so the fact that he came out remembered and saying thank you, or was it the fact that something that you was invested in at one point helped out somebody else, or was it a little bit of both?
The thank you, with stuff like that, like I don't really too much care, like because I feel like the thank you to me is starting doing what he did and starting. Like that lets me know that you know what I had was of value to you, and like it
Right,
is
right.
more so like yeah, the second one that you said, and the fact that like I say, like when I set out to, you know, come up with a capital system and a system where I was my own bank, like a lot of that, you know, I built a lot of that around like being able to, you know, what I talked about in the first episode, accepting that responsibility of
Mm-hmm.
making sure I stepped on my stage so I can have others to have their stage. And I got confirmation of that this week. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
to keep pushing.
I get what you're
And
saying.
because like it's time, man. It's time. Like it's just the time and everything with the
That
podcast now. And now I got a platform to put this out there and let people know like this stuff works. Like if you focus, if you lock in to something, like you can't sometimes like it's good like to set dates and timings, but like you can't you can't like really rely on that too much because like stuff just happened in its own timing, man. Like
right, right.
it's really hard for me to explain, but like stuff just happened in its own timing. Like, but the
So
more you begin to act on stuff, like it does happen quicker. I will say that though.
so the fact that you was invested in something and passionate about it, or what you was invested in and doing, acting upon, was built off of your own passion for it, and then to see somebody else actually appreciate the energy that you put into that hit you just in a different way, period, because you have put
It
so
it
much of
do
yourself
it
into
do
it.
because that's what
Okay.
it was all about from day one. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was all about from day one. Because I'm like, they got us hoodwinked out here. Like, you know what I mean? Like they have restructured slavery in the forms of 9 to 5s.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like they
he just
they
hit me with a
have, man.
curveball. I'm like, wait, what? He just went
No,
somewhere else with that one. What?
no, I didn't go somewhere else. I stayed. Like I just, that's what because man, that's what it is, bro. Like that's what it is. Like you go and what the slaves used to do. The slaves didn't work for money. Like they
Right.
didn't work for money. They worked for food, clothing, and shelter. What do you go to work for? Food, clothing, and shelter.
Yeah. Everything
So
that
like
technically just
they restructured the way they handle things. You know, they just was like, okay, yeah, we got labor rights, and that's why it's so important, like to know like the labor rights that you have, and like what you can and can't do, and like what they can and can't do. You know, because like these companies owned by descendants of uh former slave owners. So like that's in their
Right,
DNA.
right,
You know what I mean? It's in their DNA. And you
right.
know, like when I set out, I'm like, I want to create, you know, a system where I can plug people into and they can supplement their income and then they controlling their own time. And when you controlling your own time, like you know this, when you on your own time, like you free to do whatever. Like you free to, it opens you up more to follow your passion and do things that you should be in purpose doing, and you know, going vacationing more, going to see the world, experiencing more things, you know, just opening yourself up to a whole nother different level. And like you can't do that contained within a job and of a 9 to 5, especially if you don't love it there, because you just all out of whack.
That's a
Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And you end up there 15 plus years, and now you this miserable
man.
person, you know what I mean? And like
Uh, no,
maybe your
that's
family then broke up, you know what I mean? Your marriage ain't right, your relationship
right.
suck because you know you somewhere where you never wanted to be. You know, I see
Yeah,
it every day, you know. So
just because of your energy being thrown off and you're in a place that you're not happy with yourself, it you kind of just not even care about keeping up what you already hold to high value or high regard in any scale. It doesn't matter what it is. And I definitely can understand that, because when I had my dream job and working and designing for a big corporation and creating stuff that may or may not be classified or whatnot, I had always wanted to do that. But when I got there and I was working there every day, I started to realize, like, man, this is something that I'm really going to be doing for years to come. And I didn't want to be in that position no more, just sitting there in a cubicle or in my own office or whatever and designing, fixing drafts, doing this and doing that. The fact of me even knowing that I was designing or helping design certain things that may or may not be classified, that moment, like, it burned out so quick for me. Like the first 2 days I was like, all right, cool, I'm out here doing something on a big level, you know, that's what's up. But that burned out in like 2 days, and now I'm sitting there like, I really got to just be sitting here in front of this computer every day for I don't know how long. And even though I reached that level of accomplishing my dream, I realized that my dream wasn't really making me happy. And then just because of the fact of me not being happy anymore, I kind of just stopped caring about certain things that I normally cared about on a regular basis. My health started getting worse. Uh, my sleeping habits, the things that I would normally enjoy, I kind of didn't really put too much energy into it anymore. It was like everything else around me was just blah, all because I was unhappy with what I was dealing with on a regular basis. And I knew it was going to be the same thing here on. But when I
but you
discovered what,
no, I was just gonna say because like you gotta think that's a third of your day. That's a third of your day. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you probably sleeping for the other third. So
yeah,
like that leave you a third to be like to it's just yeah man, like it's a
man, man,
it's a they whoo
that
boy,
that's so real. And
they was smooth with
after
it.
going through that so many times, and then like I said, with my health issue, with me not being happy, you know, that stress took a toll on me, and I started getting sick a lot more. But at the same time, me being sick a lot kind of forced me to be in the position to observe what was going on around me and accept what was going on around me, because through me being sick, I found my passion for the things that I really wanted to do. I found the passion that I probably thought I had before, but when I discovered that, I felt the passion. It was a difference between me accepting my dream and getting there, and the fact that I had passion for something else. I never really looked at my dream to say that I had passion for my dream to keep pushing. The passion came through me suffering, and that's when I was like, okay, now this is something I can deal with on a regular basis. Helping other people in my situations, helping the health field, helping the government through any and everything else that's dealing with sickle cell. So I definitely get that. And even though I was going through pain and being sick all the time, which I'm always gonna be sick because of having sickle cell, I never looked at it as a negative thing to the point to where I looked at my dream when I was going through it. I never received that at all. So I definitely get that. I definitely get that. And that is so true.
Yeah, man, and it really be having me speechless because like I don't need those type of confirmations clearly, you know what I mean, to do what I do because I've been so consistent the past 7 years. But
Yeah.
when I get them and from people like that I somebody that I grew up with that's damn near like a brother, man, like it ain't nothing. And then on top of that, like my brother, shoot, I just thought about this. He just told me yesterday, like he been doing his painting thing, and he like, look, hey, I might be leaving sooner than I thought. Cause you know, he done did a couple jobs and you know, he started he saying well, he done always knew that. He just, you know what I'm saying, had to lock in and get focused. Cause if it's anybody that I talk to the most about, you know, business and moves is my brother because we see each other every day or whatnot.
Right.
Just about.
But
So
let ask you this though. Through okay, through that example that you provided, and you know, seeing that somebody else took what you invested in and applied it, and it hit you in just the right way. What do you do in the situations to where you're passionate and you're doing what you know you like to do, and at the same time you don't get those examples like Micah or Ebony or whatnot? How do you keep your passion flowing like that on a regular basis, even though you don't see those examples as often?
it was like I was saying, like I don't need that anymore. Cause at one point in time, like I did used to get discouraged. Cause like I say, I've been talking to Micah about this for the I said the last 4 years, but it really been like through the whole my whole 7 year journey. We've been talking. We talked about things like that, and I used to get discouraged because I was like, what's going on? Like what's going on? Like what you not getting? Like you don't see it the way I see it. Like and but
Right,
what I
right,
learned,
right.
and we mentioned it in our conversation, and I mentioned it to him. What I learned is like people come to their own understanding when they're supposed to, like, and you can't control that. Like you can't you can't control that. And he was like, and the moment I said it, he was like, that's not the first time I heard that. He was like, granddaddy used to tell me that all the time. He used to tell me like the things that I tell you now
Yep.
that you might not understand them, but later down on line and down in the line they gonna click. That made me feel good because to be in the same sentence, if he was giving you wisdom like that back then, like that says a lot. So I'm like, I'm humble. Like I'm humbled to be even to be in the same sentence. So like
Right, right, right. No, that's real.
so
That's real.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I learned to detach from that because, like, I even seen it, like, and Mike is not the only one. Like, even with my brother, like, it's took it a while for him, and like, Cherish starting to see it now, and like, because, and that's why you always hear me say, like, you just have to be the best example of your best advice. Like, live by the stuff that you
Yep.
telling everybody to do, and or you suggesting that everybody should do and tweak, and they gonna come into their own when it's time for them to come into their own. Because at one point in time, I had to come into my own, because I can go back with people telling me like we talked about in the first episode, like all the time, placing leadership on me, and I'm like, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. So like I'm being, it was at one point in time where I was hypocritical with it, where I was like, you supposed to be saying this, but I learned, I'm like, and just as I matured and I became more of a deeper thinker, like, shoot, I ain't always get it either. It'll come. So like I just stay consistent. Me, and that's another thing, because he mentioned too in the conversation, he was like, yeah, like I be watching you and whatnot, like it be from the bushes or whatnot. He drew something like a type of parallel, but I be watching you and paying attention and whatnot. And he was like, I seen that you stopped posting and whatnot, but I knew you was working on something. Like I told you, like people that know me and that really follow me, they know when I'm off the grid, like because I haven't quit. Like I might have had situations like anytime I go away and I come back, I'm working on something. You know, every time, and like it's always something better than I had before. Like so, and like people that like really follow me and know, like they know, like that's that deal. When I come back, it's gonna be something fire, and it's gonna be better than what I had, and it's always gonna be in a position to help you win, because that's all I ever wanted. So like that was just all this conversation coming around for a circle. I love it.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that as well. I've definitely had several people when they don't see me saying anything or talking about other stuff outside of whatever the particular conversation may be, they already know I'm working on something or I'm doing something, and in due time, I'll make it available. So I can definitely relate to that. The only thing, well, not the only thing, because there is no but really behind that, is just in those moments, maybe it's just me that I put too much pressure on myself in those situations. Because even though I'm working on something, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, I know the statement where keep doing what you're doing because you never know who's looking. I keep that in the back of my head. So when I'm doing stuff, I'm like, I'm taking too long to do this. People out here waiting on, whatever it is I'm about to drop. Like I gotta keep doing that. I know that's a good mentality to have, but man, sometimes I be putting that at like times 20, times 50 in my head. And I'm like, yo, I gotta overkill at some point. I gotta hit them with this good stuff right off rip. And then I don't know. I invest into it to the ultimate degree, but then I hesitate to make it public, or I hesitate to say something about it. How do you get through that on your end? I know it's not the exact same thing, but
No, I get it. I get it, because I'm the same way with my content, man. And that's what, like I was telling you before we started recording, like with these videos, like I be wanting to cut some stuff out, but I'm like, shoot, by the time I get through with it, it's gonna be a 15-minute episode, and like leave it up to me. So like, man, I just don't stress on that, man. Like I detach self from when it comes to stuff like that, because I'm like, I do not know who this is about to affect. Like, so I need to get over myself, and like I kind of tell myself like I'm being selfish if I don't drop. Like I'm being selfish if I don't do that. So it just I do, I tie in things that's gonna have me not want to disappoint myself in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm thinking about your selfish quote or statement you just made. I'm like, well,
because it really is, because like you're not dropping it because what, you don't like a little piece, a little section that you might have been off or something, or you don't. That's a selfish trait. You know what I mean? Because it's not about what you like. It's about how the spirit moved you in that moment and how it can affect somebody else. You know, like so it's not about that. You know, you just gotta I don't know, get over yourself, get out your feelings.
You would hit me with an episode, okay? Kind of.
Get out your I understand, get out your feelings, episode 2. If anybody need that one.
No, that's real. That's
I
real.
told you I was ready today, man. I told you I was ready today, man. Like
No, that's
uh,
real. You got me thinking on it. You got me thinking on it.
yeah,
Because now I'm
I
like,
told you I was ready. Like
man, it's several things that I could just drop. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I'm doing exactly what you just said. Get out my feelings, but I'm like, yo, I can't drop that because I didn't drop this, and I can't drop this because this isn't in a row to make this pop. But I'm like,
that's just that
I gotta work on
you
that, man. I gotta work on that
yeah,
one.
you do. Cause that's just that, you know what I'm saying, that overthinking and you overthinking and overanalyzing. It's like what I told you what I was gonna do with the podcast. Like, cause it got to like the middle of June. I want to say it was like my birthday week or something where I'm like, I don't know if I really want to start, you know, really putting them on wax like that. You know, I may want to just say, you know, push it back to the fall. But I'm like, shoot, I'll push it back to the fall. Shoot, fall come, I'm gonna be talking about Thanksgiving. You know what I
Man, bro,
mean?
if you would have said you dropping this in September, nah, fam, no, you're not. Nah, I would have said
That's what
something.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You're not
Like
feeling that one, bro. Heck no.
whatever it is that just made you say like, "Nah, fam, you need to use that for yourself."
Okay, all right,
Because
all right.
that's what it's gonna take. Man, I should go to school for a PhD because I can really be on some therapist type stuff, man. I should go get my
No, no,
PhD.
it's helping me. It's helping me. It's making me think. That's for sure. It's making me think for sure. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
definitely gonna
whatever
work
it
on
is, whatever the reason you would have told me, nah, fam, tell yourself that. Because that's what the greats do. Because I'm reading this book, Relentless, now, right now.
Oh,
And
I heard that. I've heard. I ain't read it, but I've heard of that book.
yeah, it's the he trained D Wade, Kobe, and Jordan. And you know, like what all three of them got in common, like they gave themselves little like mental
Trigger.
things that like they use to psych themselves out in a way, I guess, if that makes sense. Cause like what Jordan used to do, Jordan used to make up fucking stories about other players saying stuff about him and used to tell reporters. And so, you know what I'm saying? So he can,
What?
you know, get himself up in the game, or you know what I'm saying? Saying like he talked about my mama,
What?
you know, do something like that, you know, to psych him up or whatnot.
Yo,
And
that's like
and it's all
mad
about
genius type stuff right there.
yeah, exactly. It's all about having that because what it's really doing is it's like the only competition that I have is the person that's I look through in the mirror type deal. Like that's my competition. Like I gotta continue every day. Like I gotta perform at the best level and constantly be evolving into a better person than I was even a minute before because life happens like that. Like you gotta constantly be growing and understanding, like evolving, and like it's a relentless. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Right.
relentless like mindset. Like constantly, whatever it is, like you got to be obsessed with it. So like you got to shift that obsession to like, you know what I mean? Like I don't care how my voice sound. I don't care if this is maybe not how I quite want it. I
Right.
just gotta drop. You know what I mean? Because this is what I do. Like you gotta embody that shit.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm gonna end up taking that Michael Jordan method to work for me, because I can make up some stuff in my head and then feed off of it. Yeah, I can do that.
And I mean, like I do it too. Like self-talk is what some of the best things. Like it's this Aaron Donald video before the Super Bowl where he was going back and forth, just walking, talking to himself. Like, yeah, you the best. This what you train for. This what you do it for. Like this what you train for. Like, yeah, okay, AD,
Okay.
okay. This what you do it for. Like, yeah. This what the greats do. You got to perform. Like just walking back and forth, and like it gave me chills because I do stuff like that, and like that's part of my routine in the morning. You know, when I be doing my bowling routine, like after every, I throw 12, 24, 30. What is 36 strikes in 3 games? So like I throw 36 strikes or something like that. 12,
Right.
24, 34. Yeah, 36. It's 36 strikes. So I throw 36 strikes every morning mentally. And you know, I tell myself I'm the best. And I go back and forth. I get to talking about the podcast. Like
Right.
I co-produce one of the best podcasts that's out. You know, like it's all about that self-talk, you know what I
See,
mean? And then when it comes to the finance, same thing.
now that's what I be talking about. Well, that's what I was talking about before we started recording. I'm like, the way, like when you're talking about stuff like that, like I could see like your passion and how much you care for it when you talking
I
about it.
do.
And
It's
in my head,
embodiment,
I'm
man.
like, he tapped in like on a different level for real. And at the same time, I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm actually we should do that. I don't know how we can do that, but we should have it to where we can discuss different ways that we're tapped in, and the difference between other greats and whatnot, how they got tapped in, and what keeps us moving. Because that way, people don't have to just look at it and be like, okay, this is the only way that I can really be tapped in to grow or to build myself to a certain light, or increase my value or self-worth or whatnot. Because I can definitely see that when you're talking about the stuff that makes you you, the stuff that you care about passionately. I can see
Oh
that.
yeah, man. And the thing is, I care about them so much because like they uh routines that I put in that I installed like over the years. Like I got affirmations that I say now that I've been saying for the last 5 years, but they just been tweaked a little bit over throughout the years, but they the same ones for 5 years. My morning routine, like it went from just being a little success formula that I used to say to actually getting up at 3 o'clock in my workout under a blue light, is where I'm complete. That's that from 3 to about 5:30. Like that time is sacred. Like that's where I come up with like basically everything. That's when topics come up that I want to
Right.
talk about. That's when new ideas come up. It's between those times. So like once I'm out
What do
that
you
bed, it's like it's on. Like the struggle, I gotta sometimes fight myself to get up out the bed. But like once I'm up out the bed, like it's on. And when I know I'm really tapped in,
Yeah.
I get up about 30 minutes even before my alarm clock.
Automatically,
And when I
like your
do
body
it and
just
I
wake
look
up.
at the time, I be like, dang, it's 2:30. Shoot. Instead of being like, oh, let me lay down for this the next 30 minutes, I jump up because I know I'm waking up at that time for a reason. Cause so it's like, boom, like
Well,
let's go to work. And that's why like I really control what I consume too, because
yeah, that's one.
and I go on like I go like I'm on a detox now where I'm not listening to music. Like it's all, motivational stuff, the podcast, like no music or nothing, because I'm just going on
Period.
that.
Even with lyrics or no lyrics, just
None.
period music.
Not like, oh, just no, like, the hip hop, all of that. Like I got my meditation music and all of that stuff, but like none of that. You know, I'm detoxing from it. You know what I mean? Because
When
I
you tapped
just
in,
yeah,
go
I
ahead,
just
my
want to
fault.
be focused on what I need to be focused on, you know, because that's how you co-create. Because like I say, like if you consuming all this other stuff and you focusing on all the wrong stuff, you know what I mean? Like you focusing on all the wrong stuff and you can't it's a distraction from what you really trying to accomplish. So you
When you
gotta
when you tapped
control
in like
it.
that, and you know you in that zone, how do you know? Like, what do you feel, or what do you think when you tapped in like that, and you like, oh yeah, this the one, and then you act on it, or yeah, this needs to be done, or something. Well, what is it that triggers for you to be like, oh yeah, this is the one? Once you tapped in like that.
Um It's a lot of stuff. Like I get the vibrating in my body, like I'm doing now, like letting me know, like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be talking about this right now, because I just got that. Uh, for example, what happened to with the Inspire discussion logo? You asked me about it, and then I came
Oh
back
man,
answering you saying my boy was gonna send it to me,
bro,
and I go
when
look
I
in the
found out that wasn't
email.
you, I was like, wait, what? He didn't send that
Yeah,
to me. You sent that to me? Like what?
yeah, and it was already in there when you had asked for it. It was already in there
Second,
because you sent that at 155. I want to say 152 because I looked at the time. I looked at the time at 152, and he emailed it at 145. So like
bro.
you was asking for it, and it was already there. And what's so even so more amazing about that? The reason it was there because I was talking to him while I was on property doing what I was doing, and I had told him to email it. I just didn't know he had emailed it because, like, I got all my business on my tablet, and I don't have my
Right,
tab out in front of it all the time. So, like, while you was, you know what I'm saying, thinking about like we need to post this, we was working on it, and it was in there. You know what I mean? Like,
right, right,
that's not
right,
a coincidence. Like that's being tapped in on the frequency that you supposed to be tapped into. Like that's why my week been so great because I've been getting evidence like all week of like keep working, Sibley, keep working, keep working, keep working, keep working,
right,
and
right.
and we here.
Dang. Yeah, no, that one caught me off guard. I can't admit that one. Once that one happened, yeah, that was a confirmation for me too, because I really didn't know that was in there, and I was looking for that green logo, and then this blue one was already there the whole time. I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah,
No,
and that and see this amazing and crazy lesson. Like that's why I say things that's amazing because that is amazing. It's nothing crazy about that. It is amazing that we can be so tapped in that we co-creating. That's co-creation at its finest right there. Like
no,
because
true.
without even like that verbal communication or like I was away from the tablet. You was asking for it when we was working on it and it
Yeah,
got put in there 5 minutes. Like you was working on it, thinking about it, and then you asked for it and it was already in there and we was working on it while you was doing what you was doing and it all came together. Like that's why I use amazing and not crazy because we did that. It ain't nothing crazy about that. That's how
right.
amazing we are with people. Like we can co-create in that way.
Now, what would you say to somebody who says, "I've never been tapped in. Uh, I don't have a passion for anything." And I'm using the example. I'm saying that coming from an example to where like I'll just use Shaquan as an example. Like growing up or whatnot, Shaquan would do certain stuff he see me doing. I'm into the computers and the games and whatnot. So coming up, he started to lean into doing computer stuff. Like even into college, like degree wise, he was choosing computer stuff. And then over the period of time, he realized that he didn't really want to do computers. He was just doing computers just because I was doing computers. And I know there were like several different little moments or pockets of conversation to where it'd be like, I don't know what I'm gonna go to school for. I don't know what I'm doing. So didn't really know what his passion was or the thing that was for him for a while. Even going through, he was just looking at whatever was the closest example that probably he can feed off of. So for people that are like that, now in story, he did find his passion. He loved what he's doing now. But for people who are like that, they say they've never found their passion. They don't know how to get tapped in. Uh, they don't know what to look for or anything. Like, what would you say to help them at least make the right step in that direction to find that out?
Constantly exposing yourself to different experiences, like, you know what I mean, like, because it's hard to explain, because like when when something puts you in a place where you feel like you never felt before, you know what I mean, whether it's a passion, whether it's a a significant other that when you with them, it just click different. Whether it's the dynamics of our chemistry on the podcast, like you just know, and like those knowing things only come from exposing yourself to different experiences. Like, and somebody that's, you know what I mean, that's at a standstill is because they basically giving up on themselves. You know what I mean? They either basically giving up on themselves, or they got too many people that's forcing what works for them, or if that's forcing a certain type of lifestyle on them, that they just stuck within themselves. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I just say constantly exposing yourself to stuff, because it wasn't until like I really, said like the heck with everything everybody else trying to tell me, like I'm just about to go out here and experience some stuff, and then I started learning like what moves me, and that's what I don't know if I have mentioned it. I know I didn't mention it to you before, but I don't know if it's on one of the episodes where I was like how I just knew like serving people is just like it's what it was moves me, because when I drew that parallel with the lady where I fixed her furnace, and she was like I was her hero for the day, you know what I'm saying? Like I just, tweaked a couple things on her furnace, and but
Right.
it just let me know, and it made me feel so good, because it was just it was a smart gesture to me, but it clearly wasn't like that for her, because I think she said she had got over a cold or something, and she thought she was going to be out of heat longer than she was. And I'm like, man,
Right.
like really being in a position to serve people, you know, like that make me feel good. Like it really do. Like it lights me up. Like it gives me joy. Like, and like that's what I want to do forever. I always want to be in a position to serve. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
really think that's what everybody mission is. Like you gotta, that's probably really the answer. Or that's probably really the answer. Find out like how you want to serve people. You know what I mean? And what moves
Yep.
you the most. You know what I'm saying? What would you do for not a dollar? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you do for not a dollar? Like, because even with my forex strategy, like have invested so much into it. Like, I'm not even gonna say I haven't even got a return just because it haven't been a monetary return. Like, because I got the return. Like everything that I am now, everything that you see now, it has came from really like the last 7 years at a whole, but the last 2 years, like especially the stuff like personally that I have been through and I have overcame, it has really like made me like everything that you see now. Like, cause like I feel I can deal with anything. Like I can deal with anything. I feel like whatever it is. Like I may it may boom, give me that little thump, right from the start. But I'll shake it up and be like, okay, like how we gonna tackle this one? Like
Right.
we gonna get it done.
You
So
know
yeah,
what?
that's the answer to that
You,
though.
you broke that down in a great way. I don't even think I need to touch on that one. You got that one. You got that one. I don't even need to alter it, no nothing. You good.
I
You got
told
that
you,
one,
man.
boy.
I told you I was gonna go in the bag today, like, cause I'm like
You
after
got that
watching
one, boy.
a couple episodes, like I know what I need to tap into more, man. And we about to. Oh yeah, we taking off.
Yeah.
On that note, though, let's go into the inspired thought. Like, I got an idea of what I want to say,
Okay.
but I'm gonna let you go first.
For inspired thought.
Yeah, for the inspired thought, man. And hit it with a lot. What you want to leave him with,
Boy.
man? Yeah. Leave him with something to light your life up, man.
Oh man. Oh Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's see here. Uh, I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna feed that off of because that kind of touches into what our last episode was as well. Or I don't know, was that our last episode or the episode before that? We were talking about your hurdle, your blessing type of situation. Or
Yeah, I think it was yeah, it was episode 2. Yeah, it was episode 2.
Okay, yeah, it kind of just touches into that because in order for you, I ain't gonna say in order because it can happen in several different ways, but being tapped in, even with you saying that it's pretty much the same for everybody serving people or whatnot. I don't want to change anything about what you're saying, but just to piggyback off of that to give my statement that's the same way for me. I never really thought about directly like just serving the people. I never really realized that was going to become a passion of mine from, like I said, talking about my dream job, et cetera, et cetera. That was just me thinking about what am I good at, not really necessarily what would I do for not even a dollar, for no gain. So being able to serve somebody, I didn't mind going through pain and misery for it. The joy that it brought me at the end of the day helped me to realize the fact that this is what I'm passionate about. I got that joy from just acting on a situation and never even looking for a gain in any type of way, period. That's it. I'll just touch it on like that.
Bet that up, man. And like what I want to get out there and just could completely stress is number one, just start. And number two, once you start, just be consistent. Because that ultimately that's what it's gonna take. Like you starting and you being consistent. And then another point I want to add, and I give this one to my guy Trey because he came up, he put this, in my awareness. He was like, success isn't about sacrifice, it's about evolving. And that's what and it's so true because you have to evolve from the person that you are if you want to be successful. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
okay, okay.
you have to constantly, completely, day in and day out grow. And like that it all ties into starting and being consistent. So like
No,
that's
okay.
that's all I got. You know, y'all notice your
Okay.
spill. Actually, no, we got everything at the bottom. More platforms coming.
Oh yeah,
As
yeah.
far
See,
as
I
to
came
listen to the
through. I came
podcast.
through. There we go.
Hey,
Yeah, we
yeah, I
available on
told.
what? Apple, Google. We're gonna be available on several other platforms as well. It's gonna keep adding
Facts,
up.
facts, and we gonna keep giving y'all value, and we appreciate y'all tuning in and listening. We see y'all next week. Let's create.
See.